Hi guys, so this, as you can see, is a very informal and quick video, almost as a brief tutorial to try to experiment with new crossovers with your Altec 19s or something similar, clearly. Now I'm going to try to leave, actually I'm going to leave the old crossover ready to be connected, because this is one of the cool parts of this of the different drivers of this speaker, because you just easily detach the wires, the present wires that run clearly from the crossover to the tweeter, the horn tweeter, and the dynamic driver, the big huge woofer, the Alnico woofer. And you just have to, as you can see, click the little button and insert the wires. Very easy to do. And that's why if you don't like anything, you can just jump back to the old crossover, no problem. Or if you have to sell it and someone wants the original, it's ready there, ready to go. Now, I'm going to experiment also with another very high quality crossover, which is coming in the following months because it's custom made, it takes time, blah, blah. But I found these two dedicated crossovers for Altec 19s built by some guy. They seem very high quality, as you can see from the images. And hence, I just wanted to try to do this, to take the plunge, since they weren't that expensive. And see if I can already sense a difference with these quality materials. There's also an optional input for a super tweeter, because that a lot of people do that because there is a roll off on the upper frequencies. Maybe I'll probably do that. I already had my super tweeters for my ATC SCM35. For those of you who have been following me since the first videos, know perfectly about those. You would need a DSP to have a perfect combination, but I'm sure that if done properly, the crossover will give those extra frequencies with a super tweeter. But I mean, I love the sound already of these guys, of these Altecs. As you know, I did a full review. Here is a link if you want to know more. The link is also going to be in the video description. Hence, I want to try just for now to upgrade the crossover for the main frequencies, the classical frequencies. The cut is around 800 hertz, if I don't go wrong. Otherwise, I'll correct this in writing here. And at that point, we'll see maintaining the two original drivers, the two-way solution adopted by Altec for this type of model, and see what happens. Let's proceed. Okay, so what do we need to do this and in order to try any type of new crossover? Well, I recommend high quality OCC copper or OCC silver by Neotech. Very thin. I'll write the gauge here below. I'm going to try for now just using the copper, since I spent a lot for the speaker cables. Which one I'm talking about? Here is a link. Take a look at that video to know what I'm talking about. In that case, it was OCC silver. So 2 meters for each driver, plus clearly the connections, because even the connections of the speaker that are beneath it, they just need special pins to detach them and put them back. And in fact, you're going to need also something like this. I don't know if you can see these. I think you can, yes. Because there are 2 little sections in the rear and you just have to connect them. It's a cold joint, which I like a lot. In fact, you're not going to need any soldering iron and nothing to do this operation. You're going to need crimping plows to crimp these two. And the rest, I would say just a stripper, something very simple like this. Good pair of electrician scissors, nothing fancy. And a screwdriver, if you really want to tell you everything. Something to measure the cables in order to have the same length. And you're set. Let's take one last look before I am going to insert them. Yes, I'm going to insert them in here since they're not that big. Here's my hand as a reference. So as you can see, not too big. The original is smaller, okay? But not too much, not too much. If I squish this in a corner inside, it's not going to make that much of a difference. In any case, I'll try to move it around and ultimately I will take it out if it does influence the lower mid lower notes inside here, the cabinet. As you can see, you still have the knobs to regulate the different frequencies, we could say, to roll them off a little bit, the lower and the higher ones. As I said, you have the super tweeter here, the woofer, and the normal tweeter, plus the ground. And these, I've looked online, they're pretty good components, standard resistors. It seems decently done. I mean, nothing special. This doesn't look perfect, like this one doesn't look perfect, but it'll do the job. I'm sure it's going to be better. Well, I hope at least it's going to be better than the original one. I'll tell you the truth, obviously. Here are the where to insert the outputs coming from the amplifier, and we're set. Okay, we are finally ready. I've connected everything. As you can see, here are the old cables with the old crossover, ready to use if needed. And there is snugged the new one with all the different connections, the ground and the hot poles connected. I also put some white tape to differentiate, to recognize the ground. The ones going beneath are those that are going directly connected to the outputs, actually the inputs of the amplifier, power amplifier. And now repeat. Okay guys, I finally finished to set up the two loudspeakers. Let's do a single, very quick test with a disc you already know, a record from Patricia Barber, Cliché, one of her last releases, her last release. I use it a lot of times because it has excellent sonics and it doesn't get blocked by YouTube. So let's try to listen, and then afterwards I'll give you my take.
This town is a lonely town, not the only town like this town. This town is a make you town or a break you town and bring you downtown. This town is a quiet town or a riot town like this town.
Okay, so one little track like that with a few instruments isn't going to tell you much. So I'm going to try to tell you what is going on with this substitution, with this change of crossovers. Obviously, I need more time for breaking, okay? Everything has to just settle. Actually, I did everything yesterday, and I've been listening for some hours, and things already have been changing. Today, I did another listening test, and I do sense these following things that changed in the sound, in the overall scenario, how the soundstage was presented. What changed? Because the sound did change immediately. Now, first of all, one of the most noticeable things is that the scenario, the soundstage got bigger. Yes, not immensely bigger, but it just had more air. In depth, but also on the sides. It already had a lot. Now it's even better. So wow on that. Then I noticed, and maybe this will change gradually, I think so, that is usually an area where things change, is the lower register, the bass. Yes, there was a little less depth, okay? It went a little less deeper in the lower frequencies, but they were much more punchier, much more precise. And the attack and decay were nice and clear, dynamic, really enjoyable. but I was missing a little bit of the lower bass note. Okay, just a little small update after what I just said. I opened up again the speakers and tried to increase a little bit the mid-low frequencies on the crossover since it has a little knob. And I must admit that everything fell in place, just tweaking a little bit the little knob. So I must admit that now everything seems to be much better, but all perfectly in line. I mean, correctly reproduced. So I must admit that already with around 300 euro, not even 250, I think, things changed dramatically. So we'll see what's going to happen in the future. And obviously, we're also going to understand better with the very high quality crossover that is coming up in the following months. Okay, these are my first impressions, but I'll keep you updated in other videos. Thank you for following me. Thank you for this little experiment, all done on my smartphone. Thank you again for watching, and remember that music is born analog. Ciao.
Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.